Welcome back to another one, you guys. If you're new to the channel, my name is Andrew with Younger Toyota in Hagerstown, Maryland. For more information on our inventory, please feel free to check out the link in the description box below. So today, we're in the brand new 2025 Toyota 4Runner because this is the start of the 6th generation 4Runner. Rides on the same body-on-frame platform as the Land Cruiser and the Lexus GX, and essentially this is the SUV version of the Toyota Tacoma. So ultimately in this video, we will be testing out and going over everything about this one. So having said that, what do you guys say? Let's just go ahead and jump right into it. And as always, let's start with pricing. So there are so many different trim levels for the 2025 4Runner. Got the SR5 starting at $40,770, TRD Sport for $47,250, TRD Sport Premium for $52,610, TRD Off-Road for $49,190, TRD Off-Road Premium for $54,970, and then the Limited for $55,400. And so those two off-road trims, four-wheel drive does come standard. However, rear-wheel drive comes standard for all the other trim levels, but you can still add four-wheel drive if you wanted to do that. Simply add $2,000 then to any of those prices. But regardless of the trim level that you go with, it's going to get simpler here. The power plant is going to be the same. And so powering the new 4Runner is a 2.4 liter turbocharged 4-cylinder, putting out 278 horsepower at 6,000 RPM, 317 pound-feet of torque, coming in at 1,700 RPM. That power being sent to the rear wheels or all wheels through an 8-speed automatic. 0 to 60 time is going to come in at approximately 7 seconds even, with MPG numbers coming in at 20 in the city, 26 on the highway for the rear wheel drive, 19 city, 25 then on the highway for the four-wheel drive, taking regular unleaded fuel. Regular, you gotta love that. But so that before we do any kind of fun acceleration test here in the 4Runner, I did want to mention to you guys the drive modes. There's a circular dial located kind of just to the left, kind of left behind the shifter. But anyways, drive modes are going to include Eco, Normal, Sport, and then you got your off-road drive modes like tow and haul and crawl control and things like that, but ultimately adjusting things like the shift points, the throttle response, and the steering sensitivity. So now having got all of that out of the way, what do you guys say? Let's go ahead and find a straightaway. Let's put the acceleration here to the test, and let's see how quickly we can get our new 2025 Toyota 4Runner here up to speed. All right, found our straightaway here in 3, 2, 1, go. Oh my gosh, there it is. Interesting. All right, so plenty of a delay on the initial get up and go there because it is a turbocharged 4-cylinder after all. Some of them do that better than others, and with the 4Runner here, there's definitely a delay. I'll just put it that way. And the shifts are kind of rough too, between first and second and third there, surprisingly. So I don't know, maybe I'm just driving too many CVTs perhaps, but it's fine. Not the quickest thing in the world, but it's certainly going to get the job done. You're not going to have any issues emerging onto the highway. Just I wish there was some kind of fix for that delay, maybe a mild hybrid system or something like that. But anyways, to go along with that acceleration, as always, braking is equally important. And so power assisted front and rear brakes, of course, will come standard. As far as that 60-0 stopping distance goes, that comes in at 127 feet, which is right on par for the course. That's plenty respectable on paper there. As far as braking feel goes, it's on the softer side of things. Definitely kind of feels more like a truck-ish braking feel, but I don't have any issues with it, and I definitely don't have any issues with that number. It's not a crazy good number, but it's not a bad number either. Like, I've seen SUVs as high as 139 feet, so 127, right on par for the course. You're definitely not going to have any issues with that. But then touching on suspension and handling, up front you're going to get an independent double wishbone type front suspension. In the back, independent multi-link rear suspension. You get front and rear stabilizer bars. If you go with one of the off-road trims, you also get Bilstein monotube shock absorbers, and then for the Limited, you get an adaptive variable suspension. So for me personally, I would be loving that Limited trim level because that's what I'm going for. I don't do a heck of a lot of off-roading, but what the adaptive damping suspension does is it monitors each shock absorber individually, so it doesn't only give you a better ride quality because it monitors each of those shock absorbers individually, but it also tightens up that suspension during heavy cornering, giving you better handling as well. But the one you notice the most is the ride quality, so I'm a big fan of that. But having said that, we don't have the Limited with us here today, and so far the ride quality has been plenty fine. I definitely don't have any issues with that. As far as steering feel goes, it's interesting. It doesn't feel completely natural in this sport driving mode. Let me go ahead and take it out just to see if it feels any different here. I'm gonna put it back into normal driving mode. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about the steering. It doesn't feel that natural. Not something I'm used to, and that's after driving 1,000 cars or whatever, but this feels a little different. But anyways, I'm sure I would get used to it. But touching on cabin noise, we're going 45 miles per hour right now. I'll be quiet for a couple seconds here. It's not that bad. I definitely don't have any issues with the cabin noise. That's plenty fine for me. And touching our rear visibility, looking out my rear view mirror, because of the boxy shape of the Runner, you're definitely not gonna have any issues with that. So 100% on point for rear visibility. The other cool thing about this with the rear visibility is if I press this button on the roof of this thing, it can actually open up that rear window in typical 4Runner fashion. That's one of the coolest features about the 4Runner. I'll show you guys how to do that a little bit later in the video too. But if I actually hit open here, the rear window opens up. I absolutely love that. Anyways, that pretty much rounds out the performance segment of this review, you guys. Let's now go ahead and find a cool spot off-road here, and let's take a look at the exterior of our brand new 2025 Toyota 4Runner. All right, so here she is, you guys, the new 2025 Toyota 4Runner, finished in Cutting Edge is the name of the color, in case you were curious. But as always, let's go ahead and start with where this one is made. Taking a look at the VIN, first character is the letter J, indicating that the new 4Runner is still built and assembled in Japan. Hallelujah. But let's go ahead and start up front, because that front grille is going to differ pretty substantially dependent upon the trim level that you go with. Going to get black horizontal bars for the SR5, black honeycomb style front grille for the off-road trims and the TRD sport trims, satin chrome tri-bar finish then for the limited. You're going to get a gloss black hood scoop, by the way, if you go with the TRD sport trim levels. Wanted to also mention that. To the sides then, LED headlights with LED daytime running lights do come standard. To get the automatic feature with those, you also get automatic high beams. If you have your high beams on at night and it senses a vehicle coming in the opposite direction, it's going to automatically dim them back to low beams, and when that vehicle is gone, it's going to automatically bounce it back up to high beams for you there. And then down below, you're going to find LED fog lights for every single trim level across the board, and that is pretty cool too. But pretty much looks like a taco up front. I like it, but that pretty much rounds out the front end. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the side. All right, so now since we are around to the side of the 4Runner here, all the way to the top, black roof rails will come standard. You will find some satin chrome roof rails though if you were to go with that limited trim level. Rear privacy glass coming standard. You always have trim level badging on that C pillar in typical 4Runner fashion there. So we have the TRD off-road premium, in case I haven't said it yet. I don't think I have said that yet, but that's what trim level we have. But take a look at side mirrors. They are power adjustable heated side mirrors. They will have integrated turn signals for all trim levels but the SR5, believe it or not. Then they're going to be power folding with the limited trim level. Running boards are going to come on the TRD off-road trim levels and the limited. Then taking a look down at the wheel setup, you're going to find 17-inch dark gray alloys for the SR5, 20-inch dark gray machine finished alloys for the TRD Sport, 18-inch matte black / machine finished alloys. These are combos, by the way, for the TRD off-road, and then 20-inch gray painted machine finished alloys for the limited. But that pretty much rounds out the side profile. Let's now go ahead and swing around to the back. All right, so now since we are around to the back of the 4Runner here, all the way to the top, you will find a matte black shark fin antenna. Just below that, you got a rear spoiler with an integrated brake light. Let me get up a little bit closer. Let's see if the rear window wiper is tucked away underneath, and it is. It is up underneath there. So in case you were curious where the rear window wiper is, that's where it's located, which makes sense. If the rear glass opens and closes, it can't be affixed to the rear glass. So I like that. Anyways, you got some 4Runner lettering found on the rear liftgate there. Of course, LED taillights do come standard. Full-size spare is going to be located underneath of the body. You guys can see that there. That's going to be for the TRD off-road at least, so that's pretty cool. And of course, you will find a single exhaust outlet tucked away as well. So having said that, I do believe you guys know what we have to do next here. As always, here is that exhaust clip. Alright, so now since we are around to the back of the 4Runner here, when it comes to opening that rear liftgate, it is going to be a hands-free power liftgate for the premium trims and the limited trim level. So there's a button on the key fob, there's a rubberized button on the liftgate itself then as well. But once opened up, cargo capacity behind that third row, by the way, the third row is optional. That goes for $770 if you wanted it, but that's going to come in at 12.1 cubic feet. With the third row down, if you have the third row, it comes in at 48.4 cubic feet. Then with all rows just folded 90.2 cubic feet. That's substantial. That's more than the Kia Telluride, Hyundai Palisade, Honda Pilot, Toyota Highlander. Like, that's more than most 3-row SUVs. So it's a pretty decent amount of cargo space back there. You do have LED cargo lighting in the back. There's a 120 volt power outlet for all trim levels but the SR5 if you wanted that. There's a rear cargo cover. There's some chrome plated tie down anchors. So there is a good bit going on in the cargo area as well. But making your way up to the third row legroom, if we had it, that would come in at 31.8 inches, but we don't. So making your way up to the second row legroom, that is going to come in at 34.8 inches. For reference, I'm an even 6 feet tall. This is how much space I had in the second row there. There is rear ventilation coming standard. You get rear USB charging ports as well, which I love to see. 120 volt power outlet, we happen to have that one for the second row passengers as well. And of course, you also have a rear center armrest with cup holders as expected in the 4Runner here. But then make your way up to the front seats, manually adjustable cloth seats for the SR5, TRD Sport and TRD Off-Road, power adjustable soft text seating for the TRD Sport Premium and TRD Off-Road Premium, power adjustable leather seats for the Limited. Then it will be heated and ventilated front seats for the premium trims and the Limited. So overall, as far as seat comfort goes, it was plenty fine. I didn't have any issues with that. The power lumbar was definitely plenty adjustable, so I was a big fan of that. But yeah, seat comfort was plenty fine there. Then taking a look at the steering wheel, it is tilt and telescoping. It is going to be leather wrapped for all trim levels across the board. It's going to be heated then for the premium trims and the Limited trim level as well. But so now let's go ahead and make our way to the startup. Let me start by showing you guys the key here. You got your 4Runner kind of logo on the one side. When you flip it over, lock, unlock, and the button to pop the rear lift gate there. But it is all keyless entry with a bright red push button start. So all I'm going to do here is simply put my foot on the brake and press that engine start button located just to the left of the massive infotainment screen there. But then taking a look at the gauges though, it's going to be analog gauge setup with a 7-inch digital screen for the SR5, but all other trim levels, being the TRD Sport and up, it's going to give you a 12.3-inch digital gauge cluster. So it is what you were looking at right now. And when you change the drive mode, it does change the colors a little bit, nothing substantial, but there is a little bit of an adjustment there. So that was kind of cool. But tachometers on your left, speedometers on your right. It gives you your average miles per gallon, how many miles you have left until you hit empty. There's a digital speedometer, front and center, outside temperature, so pretty much everything you could possibly want to know on a digital gauge cluster there. And by the way, this is a demo car, that's why it has 6,400 miles on it, in case you were curious about that. But now let's go ahead and make our way to overall interior quality. A power moonroof is going to come on the Limited, and it's going to be optional on the premium trims. We got that power moonroof. That's part of the reason why I wanted to pick this one out today. A wireless phone charger for the TRD Sport trim level and up, dual zone climate control for the Limited, HomeLink controls for the premium trims and the Limited trim level as well. That's for up to 3 different garage doors on the bottom portion of this frameless rear view mirror there. You also have an overhead sunglass holder. That's nice up there. Just kind of around the shifter, you do have a little bit of storage there. Everything surrounded the shifter though is finished in a matte black. Just behind all of that, you have dual cup holders. Then within the center armrest, there's an okay amount of storage in there. There's nothing wrong with that. And I always like the little shelf kind of storage just above the passenger side glove box for the 4Runners as well. That always looks good. But overall, it is kind of on the basic side of things, but it certainly gets the job done. I'll just put it that way. But now let's go ahead and take a look at the infotainment screen, because there's 2 different size screens up here. You're going to find an 8-inch color touchscreen display for the SR5, TRD Sport, and TRD Off-Road, and then a 14-inch color touchscreen display for the premium trims and the Limited. So either way, you get Bluetooth and audio streaming. You get wireless Android Auto, Apple CarPlay either way. There's some car statistics you could check out up here as well. And of course, you have your radio information. So when it comes to the sound systems, for the 8-inch screen, you're going to find 8 speakers. That's easy to remember, right? And then for the larger screen, you're going to get a 14-inch JBL sound system. So that is the one that we have with us here today. So let's go ahead and turn on the radio, see what we got playing this morning, and let's test out the clarity of this one. That's plenty fine. Plenty of bass there, plenty of clarity. There's actually a removable speaker up here right in front of the infotainment system here as well. Somebody removed it. This is a demo vehicle. I'm not sure where they put it, but it is available. Like, you could literally just take it up and take it with you. So that's kind of cool. But yeah, plenty of bass, plenty of clarity. And JBL's been around for quite a while now. I had a subwoofer back in 2004 in my car from JBL, so they've been around for quite a while. But last thing I wanted to mention to you guys on that infotainment screen is when you do put the 4Runner in reverse, you will find a rear view camera coming standard across the board. That panoramic view monitor there, that's going to come with the premium trims unlimited, giving you that bird's eye view, which is always is going to lead us into safety. And so this one is not yet rated by IIHS. I wanted to start by mentioning that. Front side curtain airbags do come standard to get driver passenger knee airbags up front as well. Also, front passenger seat cushion airbag. That is pretty stinking cool. You don't always see that. In the back, you got latch, aka lower anchors and tethers to children for the rear car seats, rear child door locks, tire pressure monitoring system, but also coming standard, Toyota Safety Sense 3.0. That gives you a pre-collision system with pedestrian detection, lane trace assist, dynamic radar cruise control, lane departure alert with steering assist, road sign assist, proactive drive assist, blind spot monitoring system with rear cross traffic alert, and front cross traffic alert then as well. So overall, when it comes to my final thoughts of the 4Runner, first thing I want to mention is I love the power sliding rear window. That's so stinking cool. 4Runner's done that for a long time now, but yeah, I still like that it's still there. They could have taken it away, but they didn't, so big fan of that. Also, plenty of space, 90 cubic feet. Like I said, that's more than most 3-row SUVs, so you gotta appreciate that. But that is about it for this one, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Feel free to follow Younger Toyota on social media somewhere on the screen. Be sure to hit the subscribe and the bell notification button if you're into new car reviews and all of our fun YouTube shorts we put on our channel then as well. We do appreciate you guys watching more than you know, and we will see you guys all in the next video. Bye.